Hello, this is Jaymie White with Supplierty News, bringing you another live stream. As always, I have my business partner Ray. How's it
What's
going?
going on, man?
Nothing much, nothing much. Just another day, another podcast, another live stream. Yeah, man. So we're starting to get a little bit, a very small, I guess, continuous following, if you will, for
Mhm.
these live streams. Each one has hit at least double digits, so that's
That's a positive.
yeah, that's some positives going. So just got to keep moving. As always, if you like us, go ahead, click on that subscribe or like button, and also leave us a comment. Uh,
Yeah.
also, we said that we were going to do this, last weekend, but if you're an organization that's looking to connect with large corporations, check out our website at www.supplierty.com. There's a list of corporations there right now that you can take a look at for free and learn a little bit more about in terms of things such as, their supplier diversity and small business website, registration links. So you can click on that, check out the company, and see what their requirements are to do business with
Right.
them. So,
That's always beneficial for tons of people.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Uh, Segueing from that comment, today we're gonna usually, we've been talking a lot about politics the last couple of weeks, and I think to be fair, with good reason. It seems
That's
like
all you hear.
it seems like every day something new is happening with the administration. Sometimes good, a lot of times bad. So
Right.
uh, obviously, I think all those conversations needed to be had. But for today, we're gonna go back and talk about business because that's really what our main focus here with Supplierty News is how can you as a small and or diverse business, get a contract with large corporations. So today we're gonna do just that and talk about it. Um, I'm gonna walk you through the process. Uh, just in case you're not aware of how to connect and do business with these companies, and then Ray
Yeah.
is gonna just simply ask questions that you feel are pertinent, right? Because I know,
Okay.
yeah, because I know you definitely have a lot of interest in things such as like diverse businesses, and how does it affect the community? What are these corporations doing and affecting not only the business that they connect with, but how are they helping out the community and whatnot? And feel free to ask
Okay.
because I have
And definitely,
almost
I'm definitely going to ask about, your experience and how you got started coming from Detroit, going into Morehouse and turning down job opportunities. So, I'm definitely going to ask some intriguing questions. But I mean, I do want to make this point, Jamie. For the people who are listening to the live stream, please leave comments because if you have a question during the live stream, we can also get to that question too. So,
right. So yeah. So we'll get started, and yeah, feel free to interrupt, add anything, and then we'll kind of go from there. So
right.
how to do business with large corporations? Now the first when I was starting my business, one of the things that you hear a lot is create a business plan. Create a
Hmm.
business plan. Maybe work on your product, maybe work on your service, whatever you're offering, and then try to get some investment capital from a bank or whatnot, or whoever, maybe your family or friends, and then create that product or develop that product or service, and then try to get sales. Um, in my experience, a business plan is nice to have, but it's not the most important thing uh,
Why is that?
when starting a business. Yeah. So
Because
what?
real
Yeah,
quick,
yeah,
because
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what you always hear, like you said,
yeah.
start with a business plan, like a blueprint,
Yep.
or you're setting out the foundation of what you plan to do. So why
Yes.
not?
Yeah. So a business plan, the only it helps you get an idea on what you're trying to accomplish with your business, right? So that's helpful. Sitting down and figuring out what the market is, what are your strengths and weaknesses, what's the opportunities, what exactly are you selling, uh, maybe even estimates on how much money you're going to make, which those are never right, right? But
Right.
everybody thinks they're going to make $1 million in 2 years, um, but
It works like that.
yeah, exactly. But what a business plan, other than helping you think through some of those things after you start your business, honestly, what I found is within a month or two, maybe even less, it was essentially out of date, inaccurate.
Well,
They say that you should do a business plan every, I think, what, 2 to 3 years or something like that. Which, in my opinion, that's probably a lot. That's accurate, about accurate. In terms of when you want to redo your business plan, but I'd say do a business plan just to help you think through, what you're starting in terms of a business and what you want to offer large corporations. Um,
mhm.
and then after that, save it on your computer, put it in a folder, and do go out and sell whatever you're going to sell and whatnot, and then maybe come back to it and look at it here and there, sure, but come back to an update in maybe 3 years, 2 3 years. Um,
Okay.
because that's about the time when you should really have a foothold hold within your industry or within whatever you're selling, and that's when you can really make appropriate changes to your business plan. So just at a high level, that's what you can kind of expect out of
Okay.
business plan. Now, if you are looking for funding, so funding is a little
Mhm.
bit tricky, right? It's it's I I've been offered funding opportunities here and there. Funding isn't fine. Funding is more relationship driven than financial driven. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can't be, $1 million. Well, actually, you can be $1 million in debt and still get funding. I mean, look at what rich. That's what rich people do all the time. So I take that back. It's really about relationships, honestly, in terms of how to get funding. If you want funding, connect with your local, banks or institution or alternative lenders. Have create a great relationship with them, and over time, if you're selling and you're doing enough business, I
Mhm.
mean, you can get a loan or a credit extension or what have you. Some companies, some organizations are a little bit more cut and dry. Like for example, some of the banks, like you have to be in business for at least 2 to 3 years and have incoming revenue of at least 100,000 for you to
What
increase credit
What
limits.
about credit?
That is for credit, if for them to increase your
Oh,
credit
okay.
limit or loans.
Okay.
Also, something that I was told by a bank when I was looking for financing opportunities. I told them, I was like, hey, my what's it called? My credit score, my personal credit score sucks.
Mhm.
Um, would I still have an opportunity to get extra and extended credit or a loan? And they were like, and this is what I was told. She was like, honestly, we don't look at your personal credit score. We don't care about it. The only thing we look at
Wow.
is how much money is coming into your business for the past 6 months.
For the past 6 months.
Yep. So
Okay.
if you're making six figures, and for the past 6 months, let's say you're intaking 10 to 20,000 a month
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
revenue, and your credit score sucks, they'll still give you a loan or a credit or extend your credit. When I say extend, I mean give you access to more credit from the bank. And this is if your credit score sucks. And that's something that you know I know for me growing up, like that's just something that like I feel like we as a community just aren't aware of. Like we
Yeah,
hear,
definitely.
yeah, we hear the whole, if your credit score sucks, you gotta build it up for 7 years and then start that business and then get you know then you can get access to capital or do all these things. But your credit score has to be great first, and that's fine if you're trying to do personal things like buy a house or buy a car or something like that. Then yeah, your personal credit score can affect that. But if we're talking business and you're trying to get a loan for, some type of pride that you're building, or, just to hold you over until you get paid. They don't really care about your personal credit score. It's all about how much money is coming into that business. And
Actually, I know, just friends in general, and just hearing people talk. That's a lot of them are held back because they believe that the credit score is the most important thing to starting to be. You had to have a good credit score in order to get lending from a bank. So they don't even attempt to go about trying to start their business or talk to the bank because they're afraid because the credit score is low. So, but that's good. That's good information to know.
yeah, now when you're first starting out, I mean, it can be a little bit trickier. But again, that
Hmm.
whole two years, just as a if I had to give you some advice, 2 years would be like you have to have 2 years in business, and they have to see your revenue coming in. And if you have a pretty good relationship with the bank in terms of you're paying off your current credit cards or
Right.
whatever, you have at least you're maintaining a balance of at least you know 20-25 grand, um, and then you're having you're spending. You have to another
Hmm.
thing with that, if you want to increase that limit, is you have to be spending a certain amount. So they're not going to increase your credit limit, or they're not going to give you a loan for 100 grand if you're only spending $1,000 a month, or if you're only spending
Right.
$500 a month, because they can see that you don't need that. Uh, so since you don't need that, that means you're not going to utilize that credit, and if you're not going to utilize that credit, that means you're not going to pay them back for it. Uh,
I see you, sir.
yep. So it really depends on how much money. So if you're spending like 5 to 10 G's a month,
Hmm.
and then you're paying, and then your incoming revenue is a little bit higher, it's like 10 to 15 a month, then absolutely they're going to increase that for the past 6 months, whatever. Absolutely, they're going to increase that credit limit for you.
Okay.
Absolutely. So yeah, yeah. So that's something that you can definitely look at. It's kind of funny, man. Like I was talking to my brother-in-law about this, how because he was thinking about getting into real estate, and it's like there's a lot of like opportunities and different things that you can do to like get into these things, even if your credit score sucks, or even if I mean there's just a lot of tricks to like how these banks, and how getting loans and getting these credit advances or whatever, or extensions works, that like, man, like we just don't know. Like I wish I would have known this at like in college,
Right. Definitely.
because there are a ton of different ways to get access to capital, if you're interested, um that can help you start a business. So, but funny, we started with access to capital on business with large corporations, but uh that wasn't even really the point. But so the main thing, just a little tidbits on there. But when we're talking about doing business with corporations, um, you know, business plan is helpful, but not the most important thing to do. The most important thing to do is get sales. All right, and
To get
that's
what?
sales,
Okay. Okay.
generate revenue. Um, get you got to get contracts. You got to get contracts with businesses, and that's the beginning and the end of it. Um,
Sure. Question, Jay. I
yep.
want to go back, touch on something we spoke about just a second ago. You were going into talking to the banks.
Hmm.
What and when you went into these meetings, what did you bring in with you, like as far as paperwork? I mean, to prepare
That's
yourself.
the thing. So it's different type of loan and credit that you can do. So if you're trying to get a loan from your bank, or
Hmm.
financing from your bank, it's a lot different than if you're trying to do it from another organization. Like, for example, one of the things that and to be completely transparent, I hate is like the SBA. Like the SBA, you got to have a lot of stuff, uh, a lot of paperwork. Like you said, that's when you got to you got to spend the 2-3 months just getting paperwork done, and connecting with your accountant and making sure everything's right, and then sending it into the SBA, which they can help you through it, but still, like, you're running an operation here. Like, most people don't have a month or two to really devote to putting an application together that they may or may not get. The average business has what is it, 20 about a month. in terms of cash on hand to support their business. So they just don't have that
Mhm.
type of time. Um, your average business doesn't. So if you're going to an outside organization, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and that's where you have to put that paperwork together. However,
Okay.
if you're going through your own bank, it's actually really easy because what your bank's going to do is they're just going to look at your account.
Oh, that's it.
Yep, and they can tell you within like a couple of days, maybe a week at most, if you're approved or not.
Oh, okay.
Because
That's not bad.
yeah, they have access to your account, so they know what's coming in and they know what's going out.
Okay. Okay. So I
Um,
thought maybe you had to bring in any
no, because
maybe W-2s or
nah,
stuff
not
like
for
that.
a bank, not for your bank, just because you have to fill out some stuff, but it's nothing crazy. Like again,
Oh,
like a
okay.
week, because they're just gonna look at what you have, what you're bringing in. I mean,
Right.
again, because they can tell if you're paying somebody, they can just look at your account and see, okay, this is how many people they're paying, because this is how much money is going out every month.
Right. Right. I get you.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
they can see it. But yeah, yeah. So moving forward a little bit, the most important thing by any means is sales. You know, you'll hear the whole the most important thing is expenses because if you're we'll say your profit margin. As long as you're making more, as long as you're bringing in more than you're spending money on, then that's always good. But if you want to do business with large corporations, you got to get the contract in the first place. So to do business with large corporations, you got to do business with large corporations. So that would be
Okay.
the most important thing is sales, sales, sales. Um,
Okay.
so with that being said, what I want to do is I want to take people through the process of how to actually win that business with a company. Now, I'm not going to get into some of the things that you have to do beforehand. For example, like you have to get an LLC, then you have to get your articles of incorporation and all that stuff completed. Which it's actually fairly simple. It'll probably take you about, depending upon what state you're in. I mean, it could take you like
Mhm.
uh, a a month or two, or maybe 3 months. I know ours
Okay.
is incorporated in Michigan, so ours took about a month, and I think to get the LLC plus with the articles of incorporation, it took like cost like $20 or something like that. Versus like,
Now, do you get it automatically? Does it take time to come in the mail?
yeah,
How does that
that's the
work?
month.
The
That's the
paperwork.
month. Yeah, that's the month
Okay.
piece.
Okay.
So you for Michigan, you have to mail it in. But
Okay.
the cool thing is once you get the name, you can just update it online. So just go online and then just pay the $20.
Perfect.
Yep. So funny enough, I think LLC is a little bit more complicated. I mean LLC. I think Illinois is a little bit more complicated. I think yours is like I don't want to misquote, but I think yours is more and it takes longer, which is it is what it is. But it just depends where you go. Um, and then after that you have to do some other things in order to get everything uh in line for doing business. Uh,
Hmm.
just things you just don't think about. Like you got to put together. If you're doing business with large corporations, you got to do things such as put together contract material, proposals. You have to buy insurance. You have to do a number of things, which I won't get into a lot, but just keep that in mind that you have to have your paperwork in order before you do business with these large corporations. So when you do the LLC, then you got to get your tax ID, and then you got to get your DUNS number. Um, both are free, so it's not that hard to get, and then you can go ahead and do business with these large corporations. Oh, and then in addition to that, once you have your business piece set up, then you want to get your bank account.
Uh huh.
And that one I think you have to put in like 250 bucks or something like that into the bank account um to start it, and then that bank account will be connected with your business and you're ready to go. You're ready to do business, right?
Perfect.
Yep. So now that you've got that and you got your service or your product, whatever you have, um well, now it's time to connect with these companies. So how do you do that? Now, obviously, I'm going to, shameless promotion right now. Check out supplierty.com. We have a list of over 300 organizations that you can log on to right now and look to connect with. What it does is it has their registration portals, so you can register, fill out their information, input, your products or service. Oh, excuse me. And then uh, what it says is they'll follow up with you, but we're gonna get into the correct process on how to connect with these guys. But that's the first step. That is the first step for a lot of these organizations. Is registering, and if not registering, at least finding out what they're looking to purchase. Um,
Okay.
After that, the next piece, and this is very important because in winning a contract, it's all about relationship building. Relationship building is extremely important, right? If you want to,
Hmm.
because people do business with their friends. People do business with people they know. Um, so once you're registered, then you attend. It's very important that you attend these conferences. Um, I mean that is the cost of doing business. Going to your local conference, if you can connect with like a chamber of commerce, uh, for supply diversity, small business, maybe your SBA. If you're a supply diversity, get it certified by the NMSDC or veterans or WeBank, etc. So that way it'll give you access to even more organizations that you can meet with, um, and sell your product or service to. Now, I want people to keep in mind. I wish I would have said this a little bit earlier, but I want people to keep in mind that this is not. So there's B2B and there's B2C, right? B2C is business to consumer. So that's when you can essentially start a website and sell to anybody. Maybe like for example, if you're starting a clothing business, set up your website. Sell to
Okay.
anybody. Whatever. That can you can win a business. You can win a contract within seconds, realistically. If you're doing B2C like that. B2B is extremely different. Very different. If you're selling something under, let's say 500, yeah, let's say $500 a month, right? Uh, then that can take a couple of weeks to get signed, right? Because they have to go through their purchasing departments and whatnot, and they have to make sure that everything lines up. That's why it's important to have like your insurance and your tax ID and all that stuff. They want to check you out, make sure that you're a real business, make sure you're not some guy just trying to screw them over and pretend to sell something that you can't do. But if it's
Okay.
under $500, it takes them a couple of weeks, maybe a month. We'll say just a month just to keep it easy in terms of numbers, and then you can win a contract. So you can win a contract within a month for something 500 and under. If it's something that costs more, again, we're doing business to business now. We're dealing with large corporations. Winning a contract can take anywhere from 6 months to 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd give you the average to get a business is between 1 to 2 years.
1 to 2 years.
Yeah, closer to the 2 years.
Okay. Now, why is that though?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a lot of times when you're looking to sell something, so the first thing is you have to look at when you're dealing with large corporations, everybody is dealing with budgets. So
Okay.
what happens is the year prior, let's say you start out your business in 2017, January 2017.
Hmm.
Well,
Okay.
the year prior, around October, November-ish, the company that you were looking to do business with, they set their budget for 2017. So they already know what they want to buy.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So
Got
when
you.
so when you meet with this company, in March, if you meet with them next month, they've already outlined what they're going to buy for this year in terms of their budget. So it's going to be really hard
Okay.
for you to convince them to buy something extra,
Yeah,
because
because they may overrule their budget during that
exactly,
time period.
exactly, you're
Okay.
100% right. So what's going to happen is they're going to say, okay, that's great. Let me keep you in mind. So come October, November, I can add you to the budget for next year. And as you can see,
Right.
that's already a year, and you've met them in
Right.
March.
Right. Right.
So,
Well, that makes sense.
yep. So that, and that's and the reason why I say 2 years is because it's probably going to take you a year to convince them that they need that product or service, right?
Now,
Because
question, Jamie. How long? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, what were you about to say? No.
I was going to say, how long did it take you?
So what to win my first contract?
Yeah.
Jeez, probably about a year.
A year.
Yeah, about a year.
Okay.
To win my like first like full like real contract, like
Uh,
yeah, like my first contract was like I don't know, like 2 G's or something like that. That took like a
how
year,
much?
like 2,000 for a year or something like that, 2-3,000 for a year.
Okay.
But like to get like the big contract, the like 20, 30, 40, 50 grand one, that took like 3.5, 4 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, did it all depend on the network you built?
Yeah, I mean that's for
Well,
everybody. Yeah, it's always going to depend on the
yeah,
network you
definitely.
build. Yeah, it always depends on the network you build. For whoever it is.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Gotcha.
yeah, but that one took like 3-4 years. But so and it ranges from some people. Like for example, if you're starting a business that you have like 20, 30 years of experience in, it might take you six
Uh huh.
months. It might take you 6 months because you already have those contacts. You know.
Okay. I got you. It just depends.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're new like I was, like I came out of nowhere. Um,
Yeah.
and just entered the industry, then it's probably gonna take you a little bit longer if you have zero contacts in that industry. So
Right. Right.
yeah, it is what it
Right.
is. So but yeah, that's essentially what you're dealing with here. Is you're dealing with 2 years. That's a pretty good estimate in terms of how long it generally is gonna take you to get a contract with one of these large corporations. And
Okay.
like you said, we can walk through that pretty quickly. But the reason being is the big issue is the budgets. So
Uh,
again, like I said, like they may do their budgets in October or whatever. You meet them in March. What's going to happen is it's going to take you about a year to convince them that they need it because you're dealing with multi-billion-dollar corporations who have been they've been doing business a certain way and they're pretty comfortable with it. So since they're comfortable with it, you're gonna have to convince them why they should change their current process, and that's gonna take about a year to convince them of that. And then the second year is them saying, "Okay, we need to add you to the budget." So about 2 years. And a lot of people don't understand that or realize that. So what happens is they get frustrated after about a year, and they may not get a contract, or yeah, or they may not get a contract or whatever. And they're just like, you know what, this isn't for me. This isn't working, whatever, etc. These guys are telling me that, there's opportunities, but I don't see it. I should go and do something else. Uh, may not be, I mean, if that's how you feel, definitely go do that. But that doesn't mean that your idea isn't a good idea or that it won't work or wouldn't work if you just stuck it out for a little bit longer. I'd suggest if you're trying to do business with large corporations and you're serious about it,
huh.
you should be planning on staying in the industry at least to try it out between like 3 to 5 years. Now,
Okay.
if like in 2 years you've gotten zero traction and like nobody's interested, then yeah, I mean you probably probably ain't for you. Honestly, it's probably not for you. But if you've gotten like a ton of traction, a lot of good connects, a lot of people are saying we're gonna do business with you. We just have to open up our budget or whatever. Maybe you got a contract already in your back pocket, a contract or two in your back pocket. If you got like 3 or 4 possibles or whatever in this like year two, then yeah, that's exactly where you want to be. You have a really good opportunity ahead of you if you can network and continue growing your
Yeah.
base.
No, Jamie. I mean, well, maybe moving on, but look quickly. But what the regrets do you have, or not even regrets? What would you wish you have known then that you know now when you first started out?
In terms of business or in terms of like my
Yeah,
company specifically?
business,
Yeah, we'll just say business.
business, and as far as getting the contract and
Yeah,
so forth.
Yeah, what do I wish I would have known? I mean, hell, a lot of stuff, right? So uh I wish I would have known exactly what I just told you about in terms
Okay.
of that it's going to take 2 to 3 years like getting coming in, because when I first
Right.
came in I thought it was only going to take like a couple of months and then I get
Okay.
business. Um, uh, uh, because if I would have known that it was going to take 2 to 3 years, I would have set up my selling and like my networking a lot differently. Like nowadays, it's completely different in terms of networking than how it was, 6 or 7 years ago. Because 6 or 7 years ago, I was like a dog chasing like a car or whatever. Like I would try to chase um every possible contract or every possible corporation. So if I went up to 10 corporations and 7 people were like, yeah, this is something we're interested in, I try to chase all 7. And then what happens is, maybe, 2 would be like, all right, we're looking to buy, pretty soon. And then I just focus on those 2. And then those 2 would like, kind of focusing on the other, 5, but not really. And then those 2 would fall through. And then I get frustrated, and then I try to follow back up with everybody. Where
Okay.
nowadays, what I would do in that specific example, would be if I, connected with 10 today and let's say 7 people are interested, um, I'd give them time. I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Um, Beforehand, I would try to get a meeting as soon as possible, try to show them my product, and show them that they need it, etc. Now, I'd be like, okay, great. Let's instead of showing you my product, which I was doing like every week. I feel like when I first started out, let's grab a phone call. A couple weeks from now.
Okay.
So maybe like a month or 2 weeks to a month after we our initial contact, I'll just grab a phone call and I'll say, hey, what are this is what we give them that quick business pitch. This is what we offer. 30 seconds to elevator pitch, 30 seconds to a minute, and then ask them, what are you looking for? um I told you what we have, what are you looking for? And then they'll tell me what they're looking for, and that is a lot better than how I was doing it 2 year 2 3 or not 2 3 years, but like 4 or 5 years ago, because they'll tell me what they want, and if it doesn't meet what I'm offering, I can move on. Versus 4 or 5 years ago, I'd continue to try to sell them my stuff, sell them my stuff, sell them my stuff, and then they'd be like, yeah, this isn't kind of what we're looking for though. And I wouldn't know that until after I've showed them my product, which that takes time. You got to set up your product and service, like that takes time out of your day, and that takes effort, and that could take a week or two of just planning and making sure that everything is lined up right. So now I'm saving my time weeks. Now I'm saving weeks of time, just with a simple phone call and saying, hey, is this the right company to do business with? And is there anything that we can help you with? Because if there's not, I've been on the phone call with companies that have been like, well, no, we can still use your service, and I'm like, no, because based off of what you told me you're looking for, like I've been through this enough times to know, like, if you're looking for a certain thing and I'm not offering services for it, then no offense to the company, but like you're wasting my time, because again, I've been through enough examples of this to where I know at the end of this, you're just gonna end up not going with me. So saving a lot
Okay.
more time, and being a lot more focused on the companies, understanding my customer a lot more, uh, than I did in the past, and understanding like how to sell and just sales in general, and who to go after a lot more than I did 5 years ago, is really helpful. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so like I said, like if I could do this all over again, I could do my first 2 years in 6 months, and that's just understanding who to target, understanding that process a lot better, and that comes with experience, right? That's not really something that, I mean, you can read here and there in terms of sales books and how to manage your business effectively and stuff, but at the end of the day, that really comes down to experience. Because you get enough experience, you're going to understand your customer just a lot better, moving forward.
Okay. I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah. So just
I
continue.
think I
Yeah, we're about to ask.
think it's kind of good. No, I was gonna say I think it's kind of good that you're you're relaying this information to people who may need it. I mean, when they're first starting out, like, hey, how can I go about getting this information beforehand for I won't be in the same boat Jaymie was in, maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's valuable. So, but yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that's, like you said, it's really important, man, because I don't think there's enough, especially for like diverse businesses. There's really not a lot of information out there for how to do business with large corporations. Um, because what I found is that, in looking at it, it's more so, hey, you want to do business with, Coca-Cola or whoever, or just name a big company. Well, this is how you do it. Click on this, fill out your info, and good luck. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and there's not enough. Hey, well, let me not say. Let's say, for example, GM, so General Motors, because I know their process a lot better. So right now, there's a lot of websites where it just says, click on here, register, you know, to do business with them, and if they contact you back, great. But with GM specifically, like that's not how it works at all. Um, so what the process is so to start, if you don't have a certain amount of revenue, they're not going to look at you. Point blank, period. Like if you're making like 150 grand a year in terms of a business, 80 to 90% of the time they're not going to even look at you. What GM specifically, what they want is they want you to be doing business with a couple of their tier ones first. So that they know that you have the references available. You've done business in the automotive industry. You know what you're doing before they give you this $20-30 million 5-year contract. Uh, so it's not as simple as just registering on their website. I think, and that's what you really need. It's like you need these information. You need somewhere where it says, "Hey, you're a small business, or you're making this much money, or this is what you do." These are the companies you should really be looking at, because the big guys, although everybody wants the big guys, don't get me wrong, you have to work towards that. I mean, very rarely are you gonna wake up and get a business with win a contract with Coke or something like that, unless you already have contacts in there, which I mean, by all means, bless you. You're one of the lucky ones. But if you're just, the average guy like me, just looking to do business with these guys, like, hey, these are the real steps you have to take. You have to build your clientele up to get to that. Because
Question.
yeah,
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Finish your point. Now I ask you.
no, my point was finished. What were you about to say?
I was going to say in regards to gathering this information and going along your way, starting your businesses. How hard is it to find mentors?
I mean, not very, honestly. It just depends what that's a tough question, man, because it's like
Okay.
that's more of a life question than a business question. In terms of like,
Okay.
who do you want to be your mentor? I mean, just really whoever
Okay.
you vibe with, who you think is a really good, who's where you want to be in a couple years, and are they willing to reach out and help, or like that's uh it's in my
It just
experience.
depends.
Yeah, I mean, it depends when it comes to mentors, and that's whatever you're doing. Not even just if you're trying to start a business, but if you're working at a company, like how hard is it to find a mentor? For some people, it'll be really easy. Like if you're the star in your company, I'm sure it'll be really easy. If you're just the average guy, it'll probably be a little bit harder. So with business, it's just sometimes you may luck up, and the first person that you do business with is your mentor. Other times, it might be you might not find a mentor until 3 years, 2-3 years down the line. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, I have several mentors. Um, just trying to learn. Hey, man, just trying to do business and learn. Learn the industry. Try to figure out how to make money in it, which it's pretty much what everybody's trying to do. So
All right. All right.
yeah. So, but
Yeah.
but
I
yeah,
got you.
yeah. So yeah, that's it's just funny how I'm talking about this, and that's really the gist of it. I mean, I can't get, I could talk about this for hours. Unfortunately, I don't have the time for that. But
Sure.
uh, because I do run a business, but I definitely wanted to, at the very least, just kind of get this information out there. And the most important piece of that information is that it takes time when you're doing business with when you're trying to do business with large corporations. Because remember, you're in B2B, not B2C. Um, and a lot of people, who aren't familiar with these industries, just won't understand that. Like, I have people all the time who, I'll meet with a company, and it'll be 2 years down the line. They're like, "You still haven't done business with them? Why are you still, connecting with them? You need to move on. You need to do something else. You need to," like, well, no, that's not how business works when you're dealing with large corporations like this. It takes time. Um, the longest I've gone, one of my one of my companies that I just signed last year. Like, I've been trying to do business with them for 5 years.
Hmm.
They didn't have an opening until 4 years. It was just they were just trying to work it in the budget. They were trying to get it done, but they were just trying to going through some things, in terms of like opening up the bid. And it took them 4 years to do it, 4 to 5 years to do it. So I mean, and
Wow.
that's just the time of business. That's business. It can take a little while.
But
So, huh?
what made you be so patient? What made you be so patient? What gave you the patience to just sit there and wait
I mean, I
instead of
didn't.
just saying, "Hey, I'm done. I'm not gonna not follow up with them. I'm not gonna
I mean, so
attempt to."
yeah, you don't just sit there and wait, right? That's
Okay.
right. That's not what anybody does when it comes to business. You have to. There's different ways you can, like, add it in your calendar. Maybe every 6 months or so, just follow up with them, see how they're
Okay.
doing, see if there's any new opportunities. Maybe you'll see them at a conference. You know,
So, so
if
that's
you
why it's important to go to conferences, like you said.
Yep, keep those not networking relationships, strong. Um, Also, another good trick. I don't do this, but I know some people who do this. Is every time they win a contract, they just shoot it out to their potential guys, their potential customers. Say, hey, you just won a contract with this new guy. It's kind of like it's kind of like if you're like in college and you just connect with like some like cute guy or cute chick, and you're like, hey, that guy or chick likes me. You should like me too. But, but yeah, so I don't do that, but it does work. So there's different things that you can do to do that. But again, and the most important thing is just it takes time to do business with these large corporations, and following up with them, keeping in the loop on when they have opportunities available. That's big, and that's really the big gist of this process. So. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Do you have any other questions, Ray?
uh, Not particularly. I mean, well, let me ask you this: when it came to your partners, how did you go about determining who you go about partnering with? I mean, do you exclude friends from people you may want to partner with? How do you go about determining your partners and, I mean, how they'll be beneficial to the company and to the success?
Yeah, man. So again, that was a little bit like your mentors. Like that one's a little bit.
Okay.
It just depends.
Okay.
I can tell you the process because every company kind of has a process, and like for example, with like my GM example, like they do that with every example. They do that with every company, right? You gotta have at least this much money. You gotta be doing business with some of our tier ones. You have to have experience in automotive, so it's a lot more consistent. So I can walk you through that. And like 40 minutes versus like a partnership or mentorship. Well, that's a little bit more fluid. There is no defined, this is how you do it. It's just, if somebody, or you've been working with somebody, or somebody's referred to you that you really trust, and you see what they're doing, and if it makes sense to partner with that company or do business with that company, then yeah, you can do it. And you should go ahead and move forward with them. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, I've had partnerships that didn't work. I've had partnerships that failed miserably. I've had partnerships that have worked out really well, and we both made money. So just really depends. Um, yeah, just really depends.
Okay, I got you.
Yep.
I got you. Now let me ask you this: how could with uh with Supplierty, how could that help new first time business owners?
Oh yeah, so
Or
there's
how could it be beneficial for first time business owners?
yeah, no, good question. So what it does, it really walks you through the basics on what these corporations are looking for. So if you just go there, if you're just unfamiliar with the industry as a whole, or just how to connect with these large corporations, it's a really good first step to just going there, seeing how many corporations are looking to do business with small and diverse businesses, and then you can click on their website or whatever and find out more information. So, and I'm talking about the free version here. It's a really good first step and first look at these companies and how to do business with them. Now, with the premium version, it goes a little bit deeper. So it tells you we have links to like their purchasing lists. You find out exactly what they're looking to buy. Uh, we also walk you through how long it takes to register with these companies. So, is this a company that has, you can just sit down and fill out really quickly in like 2 or 3 minutes, or is it something that you really have to, a little bit more in depth that's going to take you 30 to 45 minutes to get through? So, for example, if you're maybe doing with a company that's dealing with the government, that might take you like 30 45 minutes to fill out versus more of a private sector company that might take you like 3 to 5 minutes. So it just depends. um, and then we also have things for other organizations, such as like tier 2 reporting information that we walk you through how to do that as well. But for this specific example, yeah, walking you through all that stuff. We also provide for Supplierty. If you have any questions, feel free to call us up between the hours of, I think it's 9 a.m. like 10 p.m. 24, not 24, but 7 days a week, and we'll pick up the phone and we'll help you walk you through what we know about how to do business with these organizations.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, man,
Jamie?
yeah, I'm still
Oh
here.
no.
Yeah, man.
I thought I cut you off for a second.
Oh no. Yeah, man. So we're still here, still doing business and still looking to help out these organizations. Like you said, we do have a couple of partnerships. I don't want to say what they are too soon, but we do have a couple of organizations that we partner with that we will be looking to connect with their members very soon. We're just putting everything together. But
Okay.
yeah, man, we definitely have some stuff coming within the next couple of weeks, or not weeks, but next month or two. We want to get out to you guys, so definitely stay tuned for that. So yeah, so
Cool.
yeah,
Cool. Cool. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think we're running up against it now. But I think I definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in and checking us out. I really appreciate the time that you guys spent just with us, listening to what we have to offer with this stream. So thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, feel free to definitely email us. Certainly check out our website,
Yes.
supplierty.com, and again, like Ray said, leave us a comment, and if you have any questions, we'll definitely get back to you. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thank you for your time, and take care.
Have a good evening, everybody.